Hello my dear students, so today I am going to start next chapter, that is chapter number 5. We have supply and law of supply. So before starting the explanation of the supply, what I would like to explain is that in a free enterprise economy, we know that the price of a commodity is determined by the interaction of demand and supply. So the concept of demand determinants and the various types of demand we have already discussed. Okay, it was there in the chapter number 2. Now, why this chapter is important? This chapter is important to know how the price of a commodity is determined. So we know that the price of a commodity is determined with the interaction of that demand curve and supply curve. So that's why this concept of supply is very important to us. And the supply shows the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. Okay, and that is explained in the terms of law of supply. Okay, next. Okay, so next I am going to explain the concept of supply. Okay, so supply of commodity refers to any quantity of commodity that producers are willing to produce and offer for a sale in the market at a particular price during particular period of time. Once again, what is supply? Supply refers to any quantity, it may be 10 kg, 20 kg, 20 quintals, whatever may be the quantity. Okay, any quantity of commodity that producers are willing to produce and offer for a sale in the market at a particular price during particular period of time. Okay, so that's the concept of supply. Now, when we are explaining the concept of supply, we have to keep few things in our mind, as we have already explained in the definition. At a particular price during particular period of time. Okay, so once again I am going to explain the three things that we have to keep in our mind while explaining this supply, concept of supply. So first, supply is a desired quantity, that is okay. So once again, what is the first point that we have to keep in our mind while explaining the concept of supply? Number one, the supply is a desired quantity, that is how much the producers are willing to produce and not how much they actually sell in the market. So how much they actually sell in the market, that is not a desired quantity. Desired quantity means how much they are actually willing to produce. Okay, so that amount is called a desired quantity. Now second thing, whenever this concept of supply is explained, this we are mentioning the definition also, at a particular price means the supply of commodity is also expressed in the terms of price. It may be in the terms of per kg, or maybe in the terms of quintal, or maybe in the terms of tons. But whenever any quantity of commodity is supplied in the market, it is always expressed in the terms of price. Okay, so that is the second thing. Now third thing, we have also mentioned at a particular period of time. It was there in the definition. So at a particular period means whenever the quantity of commodity is being supplied in the market, it is very important to know the time period, whether the quantity of commodity supplied for particular day, or maybe for particular week, or maybe for 1 month, or maybe for 1 year. So here the time period is also Time period is also very important. Once again, while defining the concept of supply, we have to keep two things in our mind. Number one, supply is a desired quantity. That means how much they are actually willing to produce and not how much they actually sell in the market. Second thing, the supply of commodity is always expressed in the terms of price. Maybe per unit, maybe per kg, but it is always expressed in the terms of price. And the third thing, whenever the quantity is being supplied in the market, it is always with the reference to time period, whether the quantity of commodity is being supplied for that particular day, for 1 week, for 1 month, or for 1 year. So here time period is very important. Okay, the next concept I am going to explain is the concept of individual supply. Concept of individual supply and a market supply. So individual supply refers to the quantity of commodity that individual producer or individual firm is willing to produce and offer for a sale at a particular price during specified period of time or during particular period of time. So refers to the commodity that form So here it refers to the quantity of commodity that a firm or the single producer is willing to produce and offer for a sale at a particular price during particular period of time or specified period of time. So this is the concept of individual supply. Now next, market supply. So it refers to okay, so in the case of market supply, it refers to the quantity of commodity that all the producers, this is very important, all the producers are willing to produce and offer for a sale at a particular price during particular period of time. So here, how many producers or single producers are producing and supplying? But in the case of market supply, all the producers will produce and supply the commodity in the market. So this is the case of individual supply and market supply. Okay, so the next concept we have difference between stock and supply. Stock and supply. So we should not get confused with the term stock and supply. These two are different concepts. So stock means stock comprises of all the amount of goods, or we can say that stock refers to the total volume or the total amount of commodity available with the producers. Producers, whereas supply refers to the part of stock Okay, so here stock is the total amount of commodity that available with the producers. Whereas supply refers to the part of stock, that the producers are willing to willing to bring it in the market for a sale. Suppose say the producers, they have 10,000 units of stock. Okay, 10,000 units. 10,000 units. Now, out of this 10,000, if the producers are bringing only 5,000 units for a sale, then this 5,000 units, whatever they are bringing it in the market for a sale, then that is considered as a supply, and this 10,000 can be considered as a stock. Okay. Once again, what is stock? Stock means total amount of commodity that available with the producers. Whereas in the case of supply refers to the part of stock that the producers are willing to bring in the market for a sale. The second difference we have stock. It has no time dimension, whereas in the case of supply it has time dimension. So these are the difference between stock and supply. Once again, what is stock? The total amount of commodity available with the producers. What is supply? The part of stock that producers are willing to bring it in the market for a sale. So that is supply. Stock do not have time dimension, whereas supply has a time dimension. We have already explained in the definition that whenever the quantity of commodity is being supplied, it is always with the reference to time period. Whether the supply is for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month or 1 year. That's why it has a time dimension. Supply has time dimension.